Ultimate Doom's Inferno episode has quite a lot of ideas it wants to get out. Some of those ideas end up being well executed and interesting, while others, well, let's just say Gateway to Limbo tries. And that's fine. The third outing of Doom was always pitched as the experimental one, the level set that wasn't trying to conform to human ideas and spaces like the first two episodes of Doom were, because it was set in the bowels of hell. But among the so-so offerings, there's one level which sparks a unique kind of debate in the Doom community, a retail level that sheds a lot of the concepts and ideals which have guided players through their Doom experience so far and instead treads a different path. That level is E3M6, Mount Erebus. Ask fans of classic Doom about this level and the response will be varied. Much like Tricks and Traps, which I covered previously on the channel, Mount Erebus defines itself more as a non-traditional take on a Doom level than a traditional outing. You still need to find keys to finish the level, you still need to face off against demons in their swarms, but in this level you're not guided down corridors or hallways to get to that target, at least not for the most part. Instead, you're left to your own devices. The tease of the key and the promise of enemy encounters galore is all the game offers to keep you invested. In this bizarre wasteland, you have to do the hunting, and the game steps back to let you do that. It's arguably only the second level that goes this deep into this kind of structure. E2M6 Halls of the Damned throws a similar curveball at the player in the second episode, but never to the extremes that Mount Erebus does. For some, this non-linear structure isn't enjoyable at all. When you consider just how late in the game this lands in the original Doom, it feels a bit wild that the game throws such a curveball at players. Plus there are issues with the level. Experimentation is welcome, but there are some moments in the design of this one where I feel the concept of hands-off is stretched to breaking point. Hiding the teleporter to the blue key behind this unremarkable wall and using a single candle on the floor to signpost it is definitely a choice. And the rationale used to reach the decision to hide the main exit in this incredibly unremarkable out-of-the-way spot and on top of a pain floor screams tedious. It also probably doesn't help that this level is sandwiched between two tedious levels, Unholy Cathedral and Gateway to Limbo, which lowers expectations. I'm using the phrase experimental a lot in this discussion, and having just crawled through arguably the worst teleporter puzzle in Ultimate Doom, at least until the next level, players weren't in the mood for another level that goes off the rails. But for me, the level manages to rise above all that and stands tall as one of Doom 1's most interesting levels. When I talk about Doom's version of hell, this is the level that comes to mind for me. It's got some of the most varied encounters of any of the retail Doom experiences. Monster closets open in this level and chase the player across great distances to get their target. Again, some may see this as cheap, but for me personally, I like the idea that exploring this wide open space is laced with punishments for the overly curious. This is hell after all. Even from the word go, there are several directions the player can take, each offering their own risk and reward. There are structures that beg to be explored, teasing great reward. You can grab the plasma rifle, shotgun and rocket launcher within the first 30 seconds, and you'll probably be needing them as you make your way through this one. One of my favourite points in this level is when you head into the first structure you see, face off against a Baron of Hell and realise that a bunch of Caco demons are entering behind you with the intention of killing you. Your choices here are to face them head on, potentially blowing all your ammo, or leaping out the window into a horde of enemies waiting outside. And that's the key thing about this level, it's all about choices. If you want to finish this level as quickly as you can, the path's right there, but if you want to spend time exploring every nook and cranny, facing down every enemy, then that's also on the table for you. And then there's just the visual appearance of this level, the garish use of textures, clashes of colour and the chaos of non-linearity, all of this painted against a striking red sky. This is hell for me, and this level isn't afraid to lean into that aesthetic. Is it the best Ultimate Doom level? Well, that's a debate that rages on over 30 years after Doom released. I will say that this level is one that gets people talking. It's a level that arguably comes closest to delivering on the promise of hell in the retail Doom 1 and Doom 2 packages. Yes, I'm saying that right now. And it's a level that I never fail to have a blast playing through. It's definitely a flawed level, and I feel that it showcases both the ambition of Doom's level design potential and some of its more stark limitations. When asked about my favourite Ultimate Doom levels, this is one that always sticks out and features among the very best experiences for me. The beauty of Doom is that we can have levels like this which flip the script and have fun with the player without derailing the overall experience. Mount Erebus achieves all of that and more in my opinion. The thing that always strikes me about the opening to this level is just how gorgeous this looks. Now, I know some people like to make a meme out of this texture, I know some people like to kind of make fun of it, but the reality is this is hell. We're deep in the bowels of hell, and the whole point is we're supposed to be seeing the weird, the wacky and the wonderful. And the thing is, at the opening to this level, there's several directions you can go in. You can go and grab the box of rockets from that little island over there. There's a green structure here with a plasma rifle sat on the side. There's a big structure behind us, which contains its own things, like a backpack and such. I'm going to dive in here because I always feel that when you pistol start this level, grabbing the plasma rifle should be the top priority. And we've done that right here. Now, of course, grabbing the plasma rifle opens up this weird structure. My interpretation of this kind of structure is that this is supposed to be something that's fallen into hell. It's something from the USC bases, you know, the moon above, that, you know, you climb down from in the shores of hell, and it's kind of fallen off. That's kind of my interpretation of some of these structures. There we go, got the shotgun shells there. Now, of course, there are issues with this level, and I think that one of the big issues is inside that door there. Unfortunately, for some reason, they really had an obsession with teleporters in Inferno, to the point where, like, you can't really complete levels without having to deal with teleporters. But the problem with teleporters is they have to be well implemented, and hiding a teleporter behind a secret wall, in my opinion, just does not cut it. You can see here that we went in and grabbed the armor there, and immediately we got punished for it. You have to remember as well, this is 1993. This is the genesis of the original Doom game. And of course, levels like this are dime a dozen now. But the reality is that back in 1993, this was kind of a breath of fresh air. You've been playing through Inferno. The levels, while not always super linear, they are not always super open to exploration on the scale that this level is. This level really does stand out, for better or worse. And that's the thing, I'm not going to sit here and tell you this is a great level or this is a terrible level. Ultimately, it comes down to which kind of Doom experience you like. I love exploration in Doom levels. I love when a level makes me explore, as long as the puzzle itself isn't too tedious. We're dealing with this Lost Soul horde here. If you don't deal with these, they will sort of wash across the entire level, and they do kind of get annoying at points. But there's such a mix of colours here. You've got grey walls there, you've got the green marble, you've got the weird funky textures, you've got red brick, you've got all kinds of things going on. This is a level that is not afraid to experiment. I also think that's such a power move, to give you the invulnerability and the rocket launcher right next to each other. As I mentioned earlier on though, I feel that this is probably, for me, one of the two big weaknesses of this level, and it's why when people say they don't like this level, I don't immediately go, well, you're wrong, because I kind of get it. Trapping the player in this room, obviously the player's going to start mashing against the walls, but for me, hiding an essential pathway behind that candle there, I just think it's weak. I don't quite understand the logic there. We get teleported to this weird place here, and I feel like the way that this kind of varies its spaces, it's just so cool. Like, back in 1993, this would have been fun to see. And I remember when I was a kid, I used to think about this level a lot, because a lot of the levels in Inferno, they didn't quite live up to the promise of hell. Now, obviously, I don't know if your interpretation of hell includes these funky textures on the wall, but it does look gorgeous. This is, for me, this is one of the more visually striking retail Doom levels, and I'm including Doom 2 in that because Doom 2 kind of goes heavy on the brown and greys at points. I also think hiding the blue key in here was a bit silly. I do like how on the lower difficulties they actually just put the red key in front of that room where the teleport is, so new players who are not sort of like looking for like a super hard time exploring, they aren't punished in the same way that ultra-violence players are. But there's always something to see and do in this level. There's always like one more place you can go to visit. There's always something that you can notice and take. Ooh, hello cacodemons. I forgot about these cacodemons. So they've come from where near the exit is. We'll talk about the exit in a little bit, because that's probably my other big gripe with this one. I also find it very fascinating that versions of this level actually turn up in a lot of the console ports of Doom. Now obviously, don't turn up in the 32X version because that doesn't have any Inferno levels, but pretty much all of the other Jaguar level set based console ports, they all have a version of this level, even if it's been trimmed down and changed. And also they take out a lot of the hell aesthetic, so they add in a lot more metal. I assume that's just because of the limitations of the consoles. But as I said in my opening brief, when I think about Doom and hell, it's this that I think about, and I wish that Doom 2 had been more ambitious in the way that it presented its hell levels, and we'd gotten something more akin to this, because I feel like the Spirit Worlds is probably the best hell level. And when I say best hell level, what I mean is one that outright leans into the hell aesthetic in Doom 2, which isn't really a high bar, because let's be honest, not many of the Doom 2 levels actually bother with the full-on hell aesthetic. I also like, as well, in this level, going back to talking about the non-linear nature of the level structure, I like that you can skip over parts like this, because if you come in here right at the start of this level, this encounter is a bit of a nasty one, especially if you're pistol starting. But if you come back here at the end of the level, you can basically kick the backside of this Baron no trouble at all. And I think that's one of the things I really like about this level. Once you kind of learn it, once you understand what it's trying to offer up, and the fact that you can go in multiple directions and achieve multiple different things. Oh wow, I forgot about you. I think once people understand and learn this level, and they understand that they can do multiple things and help arm themselves early in the level, I think it's interesting that there really aren't any other levels like this in Doom 1, and in particular in Doom 2. Downtown leans into the idea of non-linearity structure again, but it doesn't do it in such a successful way. And I also feel that that level kind of suffers from even more bad design choices. This level kind of gets away with a lot of its design choices because they only really come towards the end of the level, and by that point the players already kind of geeing themselves up to leave the level, whereas in Downtown you're kind of hit with multiple negatives as you're playing through, and I think that brings that experience down for a lot of players. But Downtown also tries to deal with verticality. It tries to have like big buildings and has you go inside a lot more buildings to do various things. And I think that's another area where Downtown struggles, at least in my opinion. But overall, I just kind of like the visual style of this one. I like the vibes. I think this level is just good fun. And I think that the first few times I played it, yeah, I probably frustrated about it. I used to kind of wonder what to do, but the thing is, once you kind of learn what you're meant to do and once you understand the concepts of the level, I think this one is a grower. And I used to hate this level as a kid. This level used to drive me absolutely silly. The ending here, by the way, being inside a pain floor like this, for me is utterly unforgivable, and it's hidden so far out the way. That is the second thing that really annoys me about this level. But overall, ignoring that, I think Mount Erebus is just a good time, and for me personally, it's a level that I enjoy, it's a level that I come back to play, and if I was to give people a top 5 list of my favourite Ultimate Doom levels, this one's going to be in that list, because I think it's just one of the best Ultimate Doom levels. It's got its issues, but then again, like a lot of levels in Ultimate Doom have their issues. That doesn't stop this from being a really fun time. But let me know in the comments what your thoughts are. Do you like this one? Do you hate this one? Let me know, and thank you so much for watching.